Buddhāvataṃsaka Sutra. Book 37. Manifestation of Buddhas. Video 5. When the Aeonic Holocaust starts in the universe, it burns up all the plants and trees, and even the mountains, consuming all without leaving anything. Suppose someone picked up some dry straw and threw it in that fire. Do you think it could do aught but burn? No. It is more possible for that straw not to burn than for Buddha's knowledge, analyzing all sentient beings, all lands, all ages, and all phenomena of all times, not to know something. Why? Because that knowledge impartially comprehends all clearly. This is the eighth characteristic of the mind of Buddha. Great enlightening beings should know it thus. When a gale destroys the world, a great wind called destruction arises, able to pulverize the billion worlds of the universe, their iron mountains and so on, to smithereens. There is another wind, called blocker, circling the billion-world universe, blocking the gale of destruction so that it cannot reach the worlds in other places. Without this blocking wind, all the worlds in the 10 directions would be completely destroyed. Buddha similarly has a great wind of knowledge, called extinguisher, which can extinguish the afflictions and habit energies of all great enlightening beings. And a great wind of knowledge called skillful sustaining, which skillfully sustains the enlightening beings whose faculties are not yet mature, not letting the extinguishing whirlwind totally eliminate all their afflictions and habit energies. Without Buddha's skillfully sustaining wind of knowledge, countless enlightening beings would fall into the states of those content with individual salvation. By this knowledge enlightening beings are enabled to transcend the stages of the 2 lesser vehicles of individual salvation and abide in the ultimate rank of Buddha. This is the 9th characteristic of the mind of Buddha. Great enlightening beings should know it thus. There is nowhere the knowledge of Buddha does not reach. Why? There is not a single sentient being who is not fully endowed with the knowledge of Buddha. It is just that because of deluded notions, erroneous thinking, and attachments, they are unable to realize it. If they would get rid of deluded notions, then universal knowledge, spontaneous knowledge, and unobstructed knowledge would become manifest. It is as if there were a great scripture, equal in extent to a billion-world universe, in which are written all the things of the universe. There are written the things of the iron peripheral mountains, to an extent equal to those mountains. There are written the things on the land, to an extent equal to the land. There are written the things in the million-world galaxies, to an extent equal to the galaxies. There are written the things in the 1,000 world systems, to an extent equal to the systems. There are written the things in the continents, to an extent equal to the continents. And so on. The things of the oceans, the polar mountains, the abodes of earth and sky, the celestial abodes in the sky of the desire realm, the abodes in the form realm, the abodes in the formless realm, are each written down to an equivalent extent. Though this scripture is equal in measure to a billion-world universe, yet it entirely rests in a single atom. And as this is so of one atom, it is also true of all atoms. Then suppose someone with clear and comprehensive knowledge, who has fully developed the celestial eye, sees these scriptures inside atoms, not benefiting sentient beings in the least, and, with this thought, I should, by energetic power, break open those atoms and release those scriptures so that they can benefit all sentient beings, then employs appropriate means to break open the atoms and release the great scriptures, to enable all sentient beings to benefit greatly. Similarly, the knowledge of Buddha, infinite and unobstructed, universally able to benefit all, is fully inherent in the bodies of sentient beings. But the ignorant, because of clinging to deluded notions, do not know of it, are not aware of it, and so do not benefit from it. Then the Buddha, with the unimpeded, pure, clear eye of knowledge, observes all sentient beings in the cosmos and says, "How strange! How is it that these sentient beings have the knowledge of Buddha, but in their folly and confusion do not know it or perceive it? I should teach them the way of sages and cause them forever to shed deluded notions and attachments, so they can see in their own bodies the vast knowledge of Buddhas no different from the Buddhas." Then Buddha teaches them to practice the way of sages, so they get rid of deluded notions, after which they realize the infinite knowledge of Buddha and aid and comfort all living beings. This is the 10th characteristic of the mind of Buddha. Great enlightening beings should know it thus. Great enlightening beings should know the mind of Buddha, who has realized thusness and is completely awake, in terms of such infinite, unimpeded, inconceivably great characteristics. Then the great enlightening being universally good, in order to explain again what he meant, spoke in verse. If you want to know the mind of Buddhas, observe the Buddha's knowledge. Buddha's knowledge has no resting place, just as space rests on nothing. Sentient beings' various inclinations, and knowledge of expedience, all rest on Buddha's knowledge, while Buddha's knowledge rests on nothing. The liberations of Buddha's disciples, and the self-enlightened, all depend on the reality realm, while reality has no increase or decrease. Buddha's knowledge, similarly, produces all knowledges, without increase or decrease, without beginning or end. Just as water flows under the ground, so those who seek it find it, without thought, without end, its effective power all-pervasive. Buddha knowledge is also like this, being in all creatures' minds. If any work on it with diligence, they will soon find the light of knowledge. Just as the water spirit has 4 jewels which produce all gems, hidden in a secret place where ordinary people cannot see, so too do Buddha's 4 knowledges produce all knowledge, while no one can see them except great enlightening beings. As in the ocean are 4 jewels which can drink up all waters, so that the ocean does not overflow and does not increase or decrease, likewise does Buddha's knowledge stop waves and remove attachment to teachings. Boundlessly great and vast, it produces enlightening beings and Buddhas. From the nadir to the summit of being, the desire, form, and formless realms, all rest in space, while space does not discriminate. The knowledge of enlightening beings, of disciples and the self-enlightened, all rest in the knowledge of Buddha, while Buddha knowledge has no discrimination. On the snowy mountains is a medicine called inexhaustible roots which can make all trees grow. Their roots, trunks, leaves, flowers, and fruits. Buddha's knowledge too is like this, grown from the seed of enlightenment. Once enlightenment is attained, it also produces the practices of enlightening beings. If someone puts a handful of straw in the conic fire, where even diamond blazes, the straw could not but be burned. the ages and lands of all times and the sentient beings therein. Buddha completely knows more surely than the burning of that straw. There is a wind called destruction which can pulverize a universe. If not stopped by another wind, destruction would reach infinite worlds. The great wind of knowledge is also like this, extinguishing the delusions of enlightening beings. There is another wind of skillfulness, enabling them to live in the land of Buddhahood. It is as there is a great scripture equal in extent to a universe existing inside one atom, and in all atoms as well. Someone with intelligence and wisdom sees all clearly with pure eyes and breaks the atoms, releasing the scriptures for the benefit of all beings. Buddha knowledge, likewise, is in all beings' minds. Wrapped up in deluded thoughts, they are unaware, unknowing. The Buddha's great compassion causes them to get rid of deluded ideas so knowledge can appear and benefit enlightening beings. How should great enlightening beings know the sphere of Buddha, who has realized thusness and is completely awake? Knowing the spheres of all worlds by means of unobstructed, unimpeded knowledge is the sphere of Buddha. Knowing the spheres of all times, all lands, all things, and all beings, the undifferentiated sphere of true thusness, the unobstructed sphere of the reality realm, the boundless sphere of absolute truth, the unquantified sphere of space, and the objectless sphere, is the sphere of Buddha. Just as the spheres of all times, and so on, up to the objectless sphere, are all infinite, so is the sphere of Buddha infinite. Just as the objectless sphere has no existence in all places, so also does the sphere of Buddha have no existence in all places. Great enlightening beings should know the sphere of mind is the sphere of Buddha. Just as the sphere of mind is measureless and boundless, without bondage or liberation, so too is the sphere of Buddha measureless and boundless, without bondage or liberation. Why? Because by such and such thoughts there are infinite such and such manifestations. It is like when the great water spirit showers rain according to will, the rain does not come from inside or outside. The sphere of Buddha is also like this, according to such and such thoughts, there are infinite such and such manifestations, yet they do not come from anywhere in the 10 directions. Just as the water of the ocean all comes from the mental power of the King Water Spirit, so too does the water of the ocean of omniscience of all Buddhas all come from the Buddha's past vows. The ocean of omniscience is infinite, boundless, inconceivable, and inexpressible, but I will tell something of it by way of simile, so please listen carefully. The southern continent has 2,500 rivers, which flow into the ocean. The western continent has 5,000 rivers, which flow into the ocean. The eastern continent has 7,500 rivers, which flow into the ocean. The northern continent has 10,000 rivers, which flow into the ocean. These 4 continents thus have 25,000 rivers, which continuously flow into the ocean. What do you think? Is that a lot of water? Yes, indeed. There is also a water spirit 10 light beams, which rains even more water than that into the ocean. The water spirit 100 light beams rains even more water than that into the ocean. The water spirit's magnificent arrays, thoughtful, thundering, joy, infinite light, continuous shower, great victory, great surge, and 8 billion more such water spirits each rain more and more into the ocean. The son of the water spirit ocean, named Rose Apple Banner, reigns even more than that. The water in the abode of the water spirit 10 light beams flows into the ocean, even more than the aforementioned. The water in the palace of the water spirit 100 light beams flows into the ocean, even more. The water of the palaces of each of the water spirits, each with more and more water, flows into the ocean, and the water in the palace of the water spirit Rose Apple Banner, son of the water spirit ocean, which is yet more, also flows into the ocean. The water in the palace of the water spirit ocean, which is even more, surges forth into the ocean. The water it produces is violet, and it surges forth at regular times, so the tide of the ocean is regular. Thus the ocean's water is infinite, its treasures are infinite, its creatures are infinite, and the earth it rests on is infinite too. Do you think that the ocean is infinite or not? It is truly infinite, incomparably so. The infinity of this ocean does not come up to the smallest fraction of the infinity of the ocean of Buddha knowledge. Similes are made for beings according to their mentalities, but the sphere of Buddha is beyond similitude. Great enlightening beings should know that the ocean of knowledge of Buddha is infinite, because of ceaseless cultivation of all enlightening practices from the very first determination for enlightenment. They should know that the collection of treasures therein is infinite, because all elements of enlightenment, the seeds of the 3 treasures, continue unending. They should know the sentient beings in which it dwells are infinite, because it is used by all listeners and self-illuminates, those still learning and those beyond learning. They should know the ground it rests on is infinite, because it is the abode of all enlightening beings, from the first stage of joy to the ultimate stage of non-obstruction. Great enlightening beings, in order to enter infinite knowledge and benefit all sentient beings, should know the sphere of Buddha in this way. Then Universally Good uttered these verses to again explain his meaning. As the sphere of mind is infinite, so is the sphere of Buddhas. As the sphere of mind is born from intellect, so should the sphere of Buddha be seen. The water spirits, without leaving their places, shower rain by the power of mind. Though the rain does not come from or go anywhere, yet it falls everywhere according to the minds of the spirits. The 10-powered sage, in like manner, does not come from anywhere or go anywhere, to those with pure minds appearing physically, vast as the cosmos, yet fitting in a pore. The treasures of the ocean are infinite, so are its creatures and ground. The nature of the water is one flavor, equal, without distinction, while those born therein each receive benefit. The ocean of Buddha knowledge is also thus. All it contains is infinite. Those in the stages of learning and no learning all gain benefit therein. How should great enlightening beings know the conduct of Buddha? Great enlightening beings should know unobstructed action is the conduct of Buddha. They should know the conduct of true thusness is the conduct of Buddha. Just as true thusness is not born in the past, does not move into the future, and does not arise in the present, likewise the conduct of Buddha is not born, does not move, and does not arise. Just as the realm of reality is not quantified or unquantified, because it has no form, likewise the conduct of Buddha is not quantified or unquantified, because it has no form. It is as if a bird flew through the sky for 100 years. The places it passed and those it had not passed would both be immeasurable, because the realm of space has no boundaries. In the same way, if someone spent trillions of eons expounding the particulars of the conduct of Buddha, what was explained and what was not yet explained would both be immeasurable, because the action of Buddha has no bounds. Buddha, completely enlightened, engaged in unobstructed action, has no dwelling place, yet can show what he does to all beings and enables them to go beyond all obstructed paths once they have seen this. It is as when the golden-winged king of birds flies in the sky, it circles and hovers, observing the dragon palaces in the ocean with its clear eyes. Exerting its forceful strength, it churns the ocean waters with its wings, causing the waters to part, and snatches dragons, male or female, whose life it knows is about to end. The golden-winged bird King Buddha, in like manner, engaged in unimpeded action, observes all sentient beings and all abodes in the cosmos with the clear Buddha eye. If any have planted roots of goodness that have developed to maturity, the Buddha exerts the forceful 10 powers and with the 2 wings of tranquility and insight churns the waters of emotion of the ocean of birth and death, causing the water to part, then snatches those beings, places them in the Buddha teaching, and causes them to stop all deluded notions and false descriptions and abide in the non-discriminatory unobstructed action of the enlightened. Just as the sun and moon travel alone through the sky conferring benefit on sentient beings, with no notion of where they come from or where they are going, likewise the Buddhas by nature fundamentally silent and extinct, without discrimination, appear to course all universes, performing Buddha work to benefit sentient beings without cease, yet not producing false notions of coming from somewhere or going somewhere. Great enlightening beings should see and know the actions conducted by Buddha in terms of infinite such means, infinite natures and characteristics. Then universally good, to recapitulate, uttered these verses. Just as true thusness is not born, does not perish, has no location, and cannot be seen, likewise the action of the great benefactor transcends in the triple world and cannot be measured. The reality realm is not the reality realm, yet not the reality realm. It is not quantified and not unquantified. The action of the great worthy is also thus, neither quantified nor unquantified, because there is no body. If a bird flies for billions of years, the sky behind and ahead are equal, no different. When Buddha's conduct is expounded for eons, the told and the untold cannot be measured. The golden bird in the sky watches the sea, parts the waters and snatches dragons. The 10-powered can pull out virtuous people, remove them from the sea of existence, and rid them of delusion. Like sun and moon traversing the sky shining on all without distinction, the world-honored traverses the cosmos teaching beings without stirring a thought. How should great enlightening beings know the attainment of enlightenment of Buddha? They should know that Buddha's attainment of enlightenment has no view of any phenomena, is impartial toward things, has no doubts, no duality, no signs, no activity, no cessation, no measure, no boundaries. Avoiding extremes, abiding in the middle way, it is beyond all verbal explanation. Buddha knows the thoughts and mental patterns of all sentient beings, their faculties, dispositions, inclinations, afflictions, obsessions, and habits. In sum, Buddha instantly knows all things in all times. It is as the ocean can reflect the physical forms of all sentient beings on earth, and therefore is called the ocean. The enlightenment of the Buddhas is also like this, reflecting the thoughts, faculties, dispositions, and inclinations of all sentient beings, yet without reflecting anything. Therefore it is called the enlightenment of the Buddhas. The enlightenment of Buddhas cannot be expressed in writing, cannot be reached by any verbal expression, cannot be explained in any language, but it is expediently elucidated according to need. When Buddhas attain true awakening, they acquire a body equal in extent to all sentient beings, a body equal in extent to all phenomena, a body equal in extent to all lands, a body equal in extent to all times, a body equal in extent to all Buddhas, a body equal in extent to all languages, a body equal in extent to true thusness, a body equal in extent to the cosmos, a body equal in extent to space, a body equal in extent to the realm where there is no obstruction, a body equal in extent to all vows, a body equal in extent to all practices, and a body equal in extent to the ultimately calm realm of nirvana. As are the bodies they acquire, so is their speech and mind. They attain measureless, countless such pure spheres of body, speech, and mind. Upon attaining true awakening, Buddhas see within their body all sentient beings attaining true awakening, and see all sentient beings enter nirvana, all of the same nature, which is no nature. No nature of what kind? That is, no nature of appearances, no nature of exhaustion, no nature of birth, no nature of destruction, no nature of self, no nature of non-self, no nature of living being, no nature of non-living being, no nature of enlightenment, no nature of the cosmos, no nature of space, and also no nature of attaining true awakening. By knowing all things are natureless, a Buddha attains omniscience, and by great compassion continues to save sentient beings. Just as space never increases or decreases whether all worlds become or disintegrate, because space has no birth, similarly the enlightenment of Buddhas has no increase or decrease whether there is attainment of enlightenment or not, because enlightenment has no signs or countersigns, no unity and no variety. Suppose someone were able magically to produce as many minds as grains of sand in the Ganges River, and each mind also produced as many Buddhas as grains of sand in the Ganges River, all featureless, formless, and signless, and continued to do so incessantly throughout as many eons as there are grains of sand in the Ganges River. How many Buddhas do you think would be magically produced by that person's magically produced minds? The enlightening being wondrous qualities of natural origination of Buddha said, "As I understand your meaning, magical production and non-production are equal and have no distinction. How can you ask how many there would be?" The enlightening being universally good said, "Very good. It is as you say." Even if all sentient beings were to instantly attain enlightenment, that would be equal to not attaining enlightenment, no different. Why? Because enlightenment is signless. If it has no signs, it has no increase or decrease. Great enlightening beings should thus know that attainment of true awakening, the same as enlightenment, is uniformly formless. A Buddha, attaining true awakening, by the means of unity, enters the concentration of thoroughly aware knowledge and, having entered it, manifests, in one vast body attaining true awakening, as many bodies as there are sentient beings dwelling in that body. As this is so of one vast body attaining true awakening, so it is of all vast bodies attaining true awakening. Buddha has infinite such doors of attainment of true awakening. Therefore you should know that the bodies Buddha manifests are infinite, and because they are infinite we say the body of Buddha is infinite realms, equal to the realms of living beings. Great enlightening beings should know that in one pore of Buddha's body are Buddha bodies as numerous as all sentient beings. Why? Because the body of the Buddha's attainment of true awakening ultimately has no birth or destruction. And as this is so of one pore, so is it of every point in the entire cosmos. Know that there is not a bit of space where there is no Buddha body. Why? Because Buddha's attainment of true awakening reaches everywhere. According to capability and power, on the lion seat under the enlightenment tree at the site of enlightenment, with various bodies, Buddha attains true awakening. Great enlightening beings should know that in each moment of thought of their own minds there are always Buddhas attaining true awakening. Why? Because the Buddhas do not attain true awakening apart from this mind. As this is true of one's own mind, so is it also true of the minds of all sentient beings. In all are Buddhas attaining true awakening, all pervasive, existing everywhere, without separation or annihilation, without cease, entering the inconceivable doors or means of enlightenment. Great enlightening beings should know Buddha's attainment of enlightenment this way. Then, to recapitulate, the enlightening being universally good spoke these verses. The truly awake know all things are non-dual, beyond duality, all equal, inherently pure as space, not distinguishing self and non-self. As the ocean reflects beings' bodies and is therefore called the ocean, enlightenment reflects all mental patterns and hence is called true awareness. Just as worlds have formation and decay, while space does not increase or diminish, while all Buddhas appear in the world, the one form of enlightenment is ever formless. When someone emanates, minds emanating Buddha's emanation and non-emanation are no different in essence. Though all sentient beings attain enlightenment, there is no increase or decrease, enlightenment or no. Buddha has a concentration called well-aware. Entering this concentration under the enlightenment tree, Buddha emits light beams as many as beings, awakening all kinds, like lotuses blooming. As many thoughts, faculties, and desires as are in beings in lands of all times, that many bodies appear, hence true awareness is called infinite. Continue to video 6.